All right, so we're back here on another Couch Coach Live here once again under the lights here on a Wednesday night edition of Couch Coach Live. We got a special guest in the building, our guy Thad. What's going on, Thad, the QB Whisperer?
What's good, man? I appreciate
Right, right.
one. It's a rough week one, but we're gonna get through the show.
Hey, I understand that. Like it was a nail biter to say the least. So
hmm
I totally understand where you're coming from. Hey, it's all good, it's all love. But what's going on, Maui?
Chilling, man. All summer, man, I really didn't pay that much attention to football, this, and that, and something forced me to sit down and actually watch football Sunday. I literally I didn't go anywhere. I ain't had nothing to do, and I was like, wow, man, these games Sunday was crazy. All the, first half these leads, yeah, it's crazy, man, and then everybody coming back.
Yeah,
It's
it was a very like stressful Sunday to say the least. It was not eventful like everybody. It's funny because like obviously that in the chat there was a lot of excitement and all this. Oh, football's back. But part of me was like, I was like, this is like it's kind of one of the moments where it's like I'm excited, but it's almost like I know what's going to happen. I'm going to be disappointed, and it's going to be there's just going to be some. That's going to be it isn't gonna be a rose gold Saturday. I mean Sunday. You're gonna have some heartbreak, disappointments. You're gonna have the moments where you're gonna be pissed. You're gonna be hype, and it's just like, yeah. So that's why I look forward to it, but I kind of don't like when a win, yeah, but then a loss is like it's demoralizing. Like coming off a loss, it's the worst.
I'm gonna say this though. But I to see Stephen A. act how he act about these Cowboys is hilarious. Like I don't even like watching it, but I ain't even gonna front him rubbing the Cowboys face in it, and then to see Swagoo lose character on TV today, where I'm happy he went near Stephen A. because he said you just sitting there picking. Like it was hilarious, man. You only can pick on a black person for so long before they lose their cool.
For real. Yep. Exactly. Right. Yeah, man. So we got a definitely great show lined up for you tonight. We got a lot of topics to discuss tonight. We got we'll lead out the show with the prodigal son of Lincoln, Nebraska is gone. Also, we'll talk about the NBA, put a little NBA in perspective. Also, talk about Robert Sarver. Also, we'll talk about our good, bad, and ugly, recapping week one. Games to watch this weekend, and also giving out game balls, and we're doing our picks. And yeah, so we got a great show lined up for you guys. What we're going to do, we'll keep that intro, and we'll catch you on the other side of the intro. All right, and once again, we're back here on Couch Coach Live. So we get started. Definitely got to give a huge shout out to the good folks at Goalie. Head over to goalie.com. Use the promo code Couch Coach. Get yourself 10% off at checkout. So, and it's funny, we talked about as far as football Sunday, how as far as that's concerned, just the pageantry of it, just opening week. But before we had kickoff, there was some breaking news before we kicked off on the 1 o'clock kickoff on Sunday, where Scott Frost, aka the prodigal son of Lincoln, Nebraska, was fired. Obviously, Scott Frost at Nebraska in his 5 years was 16-31, and I guess pretty much the final straw was losing to Georgia Southern. Last week 45-42. Is Georgia Southern, is that near your neck of the woods?
I have a lot of friends that go there, but it's not like the part of Georgia I'm from is like 3 hours. It's down like closer towards like Savannah and stuff.
Oh, okay. That's how I was wondering about that. Yeah, because I was like, that's the first time I actually heard of Georgia Southern.
Oh no, they're not that bad. They got the old coach from USC, Clay Helton.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dad, your thoughts on Scott Frost being fired, and who do you think should be the new head coach at Nebraska?
That's a tough one. But with the starting off with the firing, it was kind of long overdue. You know, he played there, so his leash was a little bit longer, and he did wonders with UCF. Sent him to undefeated season, beat Auburn in the Peach Bowl, so expectations were high. He was getting a young, talented quarterback in Adrian Martinez, and it just never – his plan never came into fruition. It was terrible. He never had a winning season. They blew a lot of leads. Just wasn't good overall, and this was just long overdue. Like, he didn't get fired on Sunday. He was going to come within the next couple of weeks if they didn't win a game, and it was trending in that direction. So I don't really have much to say about it. It was long overdue, and he got a longer leash than a lot of coaches would have gotten, being at your alma mater and him playing there. So I'm sad to see him go, but they had to make a change. This program wasn't going anywhere. They had a new quarterback, same result, and so they had to let Scott Frost go. But that's a tough one. I did not think about this one. I do not know who they should hire. I don't have a name in mind. I watch college football, but I don't know the coaches that are sitting at home without a job that can fill in, So I'm going to leave that up to you guys to answer that. But they need to quit because Nebraska might be done as a program.
Right.
It's one, but it's kind of out there. And like you said, it's really, it's some college coaches, but will they take it? It's like almost kind of how you kind of preface as far as, but I'll discuss later. But Mal, your thoughts on Scott Frost being fired?
And like Dad said, it was long overdue. Once I, looked up everything, it seemed like his record was horrible. Like, just against ranked opponents, he was 0 for 14 or 0 for 16 or something. It was just bad, man. Like, his record with Nebraska is 16-31. And a lot of people was asking, why did they wait to fire him? They could have waited to the first and got a buyout of less. It's just funny. I think out of respect, like, I didn't know that he went there. They were just like, hey, man. And they already knew they wanted somebody else. So they was like, why waste time? Because if he wins, think about it. If he wins the next 2 games, when they already probably knew they wanted to get rid of him, then the decisions would change. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, let's just go ahead and get rid of him now and get somebody else in there. But then, don't you think they can get somebody? Because it's the Big Ten, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So didn't they just get some TV money?
Well, they're on the verge of it. I think
they're on the verge of it.
Kind of, yeah.
So you don't think they might try to get one of those, big coaches? Because college coaches are getting paid.
Yeah, I think they're gonna try to, but almost the price is just not what it used to be, and I think that's where it's kind of where, like you talked about, as far as the ranked opponents being 0-14 or whatever. It's probably gonna be that way. Whoever goes, it's got to be a change in some way. I just think the whole thing with Scott Frost, like you said, and it kind of reminds me almost similar to like how Cliff Kingsbury was at Texas A&M in a sense, where it's like you see how he had like a longer of a leash at Texas A&M, like he was one that should have possibly been fired a little bit longer. A little bit, than what Scott Frost. And like you said, I think just this was the perfect timing for it, because obviously when you lose to like a Georgia Southern, because it's almost like you spared them, because you're playing Oklahoma this week. So it's like it was going to get uglier. Like, it's almost like if he wasn't going to get fired Sunday, he would have got fired this Sunday, because I think the Oklahoma game could have been ugly. And then they got a bad week after the Oklahoma game. So they did him a favor. The thing about them, like, it's just that job is kind of one of those where we all know coaches are going to take a job just for the hell of it because of the challenge of it. Because Nebraska is a team that, they do have rich tradition, even though our generation really seen the tail end of it. Obviously, when Scott Frost was around, essentially, when he was a quarterback for that team, and then also they had a few in the early 2000s. They had somewhat of a semblance at least at the turn of the century. But other than that, it's just been terrible. As far as who could be their head coach, I could, in a weird way, I kind of can see John Gruden being there in a strange, but I don't think they're ready for him quite yet. That's the thing where it's like, I think if this is maybe like, if they were looking for a coach maybe like a year from now, 2 years from now, then I think they kind of, but I just found it odd, like him kind of doing his mea culpa at this point. As far as, I've been married to my wife for 30 plus years. I'm involved in the church and all this. I just found it, the timing of it is kind of like where it's almost like he's trying to put something in the air like, hey, I need to be back, this, that, and the third. And I'm telling you, I know this is another one that might sound crazy too. I would not be surprised if your boy get that job.
Urban?
Yes. I'm telling you. Because I'm gonna put it this way.
Oh, really?
Because
he's goated, not goated, but
he college, right?
College,
College is different. He'll never get an NFL job
ever
at all. I don't care what he does. I don't care if he leads Nebraska to 10. If he can do a Nick Saban, what Nick Saban do in Alabama, he's not going to the NFL for sure, regardless.
But wouldn't he be expensive?
I mean,
they don't got those.
They don't care. No, the children of the coin. They got money.
Think about it. So you said that when is that TV money coming?
Is it next 20?
It's either 24 or 23, I think.
So for me, I'm looking at it. If you get an Urban or a Gruden, people are going to want to watch because of the controversy. Just like I said, show is going to be like that. I'm thinking, okay, yeah, it's controversial, but we got this. We got to, more than football, we got to get people to watch these games. You know what I mean? And that's a lot of publicity. You got these guys on TV talking about it. Is his bad mojo going to be bad for the kids, or hey, he's going to get a second chance? I think those two names are very, very good for that team, because I'm tripping that Nebraska is that bad, because I remember back in the day, Nebraska was one of them teams everybody talked about.
Right. Right.
And then I'm looking at the teams they go against, and I'm like, who? What? You know what I mean? So,
and I think Nebraska, they're gonna go for that big name. I think it may not be the two that I mentioned, but they try to sell you on the prodigal son that was Scott Frost. Oh, he, what he did at UCF, and now, we're gonna bring a guy that, because Scott Frost was part of that national championship team, if my memory serves correct. So you look at that, and he was a prodigal son. It's almost like the only person who probably could go to Nebraska and sell that prodigal son is Tommy Frazier, and that's it. So those are kind of, when you think about Nebraska, they're synonymous when it comes to, I call it the prodigal sons of that team. But like you said, they're back to Brinks truck for whoever. It's Nebraska got money. That's the thing with them. They got the money. Like they got, like you said, they got boosters, they got people all over that's going to clamor and get that money. So it's no thing for them. So
okay,
it's going to be interesting. And then what I found hard about all this was the new head coach is Mickey Joseph. Right now, Nebraska, I think it's 153 years. My memory serves correct. This is their first ever black coach in any sport.
Yeah, I saw that. That's crazy.
I was like, that's
for
wild.
Real?
Yes. I was like,
wow,
that is crazy. That is crazy. Like, and I think it's 100. I want to say it's 153 years since Nebraska was founded, and this is their first ever black head coach in any sport.
That's crazy.
It really is. But it's just
even though like Lad said, they blow leads, so it's not like the teams aren't battling. It's not like they're not playing, but just something is missing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what's weird. When I was looking at stuff, they kept talking about how many times they were blowing leads. it was like third quarter, fourth quarter, and they said it's just something missing. They was like, man, they're so close to winning, but they can't get over the hump. It's not like they sorry they get blown out. You know what I mean?
Like case in point, that game against Northwestern, which is like that's where it's like that should have been the camel. The straw that broke the camel back in 2021, 2020. But that was like that. I was like, is Scott Frost going to fly back with his team from Berlin? Like it was that bad when they went to Berlin and lost in the Northwestern 2 weeks ago. I was like, there's no way he's gonna survive this. Like, and then obviously they won that second week, but then laid the egg against Georgia Southern. But yeah, Scott Frost. It's gonna be interesting. With but
and like Jordan said at the bottom that commented, he was on the short list going into the season. He could have easily been fired last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I was saying like the straw that brought the camel back was really last year.
So when they say buyout, they mean fired? Like, you know what I mean? I know it's letting him go.
I'd love to get bought out.
Right. Like speaking of that, like your boy.
Is there a difference?
Well, you get your money. The buyout is pretty much, hey, you get fired and you get your money. They pay you to leave. Almost like the NBA. You know how like
right. So when they say they fired, but I'm just saying, you say, hey, you fired. Do they still get paid? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. So it's really the same thing.
like y'all heard about Ed Orgeron when he was talking about when he got that $17 million buyout at LSU.
No,
he was like, he was like, they're gonna let you go. He was like, that was so hilarious. I gotta definitely, because I don't want to misquote him, but man, he had some quotables on that one, like as far as him being bought out. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. But like you said, that's a beauty thing about like coaching, where they let you go. Hey, especially now, if you're like a Power 5 school, you're gonna get $10+ million buyout regardless of your circumstance.
Right.
So yeah, that's the best thing, honestly. Because you can get another job. That's the thing about college.
Yeah, and he gonna get that 15 million. He gonna run right into a coordinator or another job.
Yeah. Yep, in this big conference. Yeah, because I think, and coaches they want that challenge where it's like, hey, I'm gonna be the one that's gonna rechange this trajectory of this team. So I definitely think it's going to be a job, and people are going to clamor for it. It's just a matter of who they're going to attract. That's the thing.
Right.
Where, and it's a bunch of names, like a bunch of young up and coming coaches, but I think if Lincoln wants to make a splash, those be kind of the two. And we always look at those type of scenarios where a lot of teams, especially a team like that, will try to make a splash. But yeah. So we talked a little college football. Let's talk a little NBA. So this is and it was funny because it's one of the things where years ago people would talk about the play-in tournament. Then as far as getting the playoffs, I thought that was kind of crazy how that happened. And then people talk about maybe a mid-season tournament. So now we're gonna have a NBA in-season tournament. And it looks like, for the looks of it, it's going to start in the 2023-2024 NBA season. So that'll be next season, not this upcoming one. So from Sean's pretty much saying that, hey, it's going to be a tournament that's going to start in November and it's going to run through December. And what's going to happen is going to be the 8 best teams at that particular time will face each other in a single elimination tournament. And they're going to be considered cup games. Now, the thing about it, no compensation hasn't been named quite yet as far as who's the winner. So essentially, the 2 teams that will face off in the final of the tournament will play an additional game. So it's the other teams will play 82 games while the 2 opponents in the championship game of this in-season tournament will play an additional game, making that season 83 games. So Dad, your thoughts on the NBA in-season tournaments?
I'm definitely gonna keep this one short and sweet. I hate it. The play-in tournament. I started to get used to it, and I like the play-in tournament. I'm not gonna lie, I'm okay with that. But Mid-season tournament, I think they're just doing too much at this point. I really think they're just doing too much. They need to stick with what we got right now. The playing tournament is fine. At first, I was like, I don't like it, but seeing the 9 and 10 teams, how hungry they are, and how good it was last year, yeah, I'm not with it at all. Like at all. I know a lot of the NBA players don't agree with it, and it's more games on their body. They're already playing 82 games. Was it added to the 82 game schedule?
Well, no, it'll still even out. But the only thing that's gonna happen if when the championships, the only two teams that'll be in the championship will have an additional game, so they'll play 83 games compared to other 28 teams. So will have 82 games. Right? Sounds crazy, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Your thoughts, Maui?
First of all, I hope the commissioner he needs to get a new crew because they clearly need to put that cocaine down. You can always tell when somebody on something, man, because they just what we should do. You know what I mean? Nah, bro. Like you already got the play-in tournament. You know what I mean? And the play-in tournament took a lot of people to buy into it. It's exciting and it makes sense because even to the point where those mid-team. Remember when I think the Clippers could have been ranked 2 or 1 or something like that, but they sat out and then I don't think they made the playoffs or something weird like that happened. You know what I mean? But just keep it like it's too much. It doesn't even make sense to us. You know what I mean? Like the midseason is not even making sense. Then when you watch basketball in October and November, all you really doing is you really don't even have the time to watch every game because it's the holiday season. You know what I mean? We all getting ready for Christmas. And as soon as Christmas hit, we locked in. You're doing too much. Then what? A month and a half after Christmas, it's the All-Star game. You're doing too much, man. Doing too much. I don't understand. Like it's I don't know. Maybe they need to lay it down for us so we can actually see it so it can make sense. But it really doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and it's weird because I think it's going to be an odd timing because I think it's going to be like a collision course when it comes to college basketball because obviously I think you think about November, December, that's when you have those holiday tournaments. You have those like I think about the ACC Big Ten challenge,
Right.
all these type of tournaments. But the thing about it is what I find weird, and this is where I get hung up, and this is where I can make the argument of having 1 through 16 seeding because everybody will say, "Oh, well, because everybody complain about, oh, well, these guys gonna have to play in a cross country games." This is what's going to end up happening. You're gonna if the top 8 teams and whoever's in at that time in November, they're gonna probably more than likely somebody's gonna have to go cross country for these games in a single elimination game. So it's kind of one of those where I just find it really odd. Like when we want to, say that, oh, these players, they shouldn't fly cross country and play games like this in such a quick time. What you think? This is what's going to happen. You can have a team like Boston fly 3,000 miles to play either the Clippers or the Lakers or Golden State or one of them. Like that's what's going to happen. Like I said, I think when I see it from now on the surface, I don't like it because simple fact of it's nothing to really prove in that part of the season, and it's really not to a point where people, unless there's gonna I think the compensation I think is going to be the one I think what might make that is going to sweeten the pot. I think once we see, because I know like the WNBA, they do something similar to they call it the Commissioner's Cup.
Right.
So they get paid 500. I think is it 500,000.
It's 500,000.
Yeah. So, but with the NBA, it's got to be in the millions. It's got to be.
Yeah, and they not worried about money, man. They not worried about money like that. That's why they be sitting out.
That's what I'm saying. That's yeah. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's got to be something to that magnitude because who's gonna go up and try to have 1 to 8 top records in the first month? That's where I'm like, it's got to be a point where they're gonna have to sweeten the pot to make it intriguing because you're still gonna play the same amount of games. That's the thing where that's why I think what's going to happen is going to be the compensation is going to be the one I think that's going to be the determining factor because of just a simple fact of because I can see people in the first month. And this is how it is. The first month is kind of like a dry run. It just depends on how teams are. Is people teams gonna be motivated to get into that tournament? That's the thing. But I think it's
That's
gonna
the
be
thing
the
too.
money.
Yeah.
The money. I think the money will help. I
You
think it
think
will.
how much millions you think they need? I mean, yeah, Westbrook getting 47 million. Like how these dudes getting paid to my NBA, man. Like,
But
you
the
know,
thing,
I'm just
yeah.
curious.
But the thing is, you're still playing the same amount of games. That's the thing where I think that's gonna be what's gonna make it intriguing. So if I'm just gonna throw out a number. If I'm gonna get $1 million or $2 extra to play a game that I was gonna play anyway, like to add a cherry on top of it. That's why I look at it from that standpoint. Because that's the only way I think that this could be interesting. It's got to be some type of conversation. Because if they're giving the WNBA getting 500,000, who knows how much this would be worth as far as that. So it's got to be some type of reward that these players are going to get that's going to make it interesting. That's why I'm really curious about the
Yeah.
compensation. And like you said, the money's the money, but with them, they ain't gonna pass up on no money.
100%.
Like they're not gonna pass up on an opportunity to make money because they already kind of not all of them, but some of them already complain about the money now. So if you
I
gonna throw
think they should just keep that stuff in the WNBA. Then you know what I mean. I didn't even know WNBA did that. You know what I'm saying? Until I started doing, this come out, and I don't know. It's don't. I was excited with a tournament because regardless, them dudes like to play basketball, and once they get in there, the competitiveness come out of them. You know what I mean? And they get the ball in it because they like to play basketball. But I don't want to be negative about it. I just want to see that it makes sense. It makes sense for the whole season, not just to have a tournament just so we can make a couple of extra $1 million. Like the playing tournament makes sense. You know what I'm saying? It's like playing Uno and a person don't say Uno, he got to get cards. A person, oh, you got to draw 4. Like it makes sense to me. You know what I mean? So it's just the playing just don't make sense to me. It just this tournament don't make sense. It'd be different. It's like, hey, okay, if you get some extra picks or something, you know what I mean? Like it's okay, it's a reason for us to win rather than money that we can get if we some extra picks or towards the end of the season we can get some extra roster or somebody's extra people on our roster, something. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just
yeah, and that's what I think is going to end up happening. They're going to sweeten the pot because initially it do sound like it's some BS, but I'm telling you, there's going to be something that's going to make it worthwhile to the players, to everybody else, this and the third. It could be a lot of implications. It could even, I see the potential in it from a money making standpoint. I kind of get because it is a dry point in the season,
right.
so it kind of gives like that intrigue. And I think it can kind of, like I said earlier, where it can compete with NCAA when it comes to like the tournament, not the tournament, but those like the 2K Classic,
Right.
the challenges and all that type of stuff in November, December.
I got one. What do you think the NFL players thought of? How did they feel about playing on Thursdays? How do you think they first felt about that? Do you think they was okay with it?
I don't think they like it.
I don't
Yeah,
think
I
they
don't-
like it. And
Right.
but I know coaches have adapted to it. I know coaches love
Right.
it because of the simple fact of, and they like it too because considering the fact they get a bye week essentially.
There you go. That's what I was talking. That's what I wanted you to say.
It's
So in some type of way, in the end, they was like, "Well, damn." And I wonder if they do that. If you get into the tournament, you get a certain amount of time off. I wonder if they do that. You might get like a week and a half off or something like that. I don't know. I'm just saying.
But that's how they sold the play in because that's what makes getting the first top 6 seeds in each conference worth it because okay, I can get a week off versus having to play in a tournament and playing 3 or 4 games. Well, yeah, potentially might play 3 or 4 games in that week's period where you might play in this tournament on starting on Tuesday. The final game is on a Friday, then you got to go on the road on Sunday and play a
Right.
game. Versus that's what I think that's what helps as far as if you're in that top 6.
Right.
I want that week off, and
Right.
it's gonna be something. Trust me. I don't think it's gonna be like the status quo of you just playing these games like it's almost like a friendly exhibition. Nah, it's gonna be something. It's gonna be some compensation.
I think it's gonna be that, man. I think if they do it, I think it's gonna be like the main thing, not just money, is that you're gonna get that little bit of time off before, because they say going to November into December, right?
Yeah. So
so you get probably a week and a half off, maybe before the Christmas game or something like that. That makes sense. I think they might rock with it.
Yeah, because it probably will, because you think about it, because if you're playing single elimination, because you're really only playing with maybe about 3-4 games. So you might have it where it's got definitely have to be a lot more compensation for whoever wins, because obviously they're going to be playing an extra game. So that's where that could be, that could be very interesting. But yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Good take.
Yeah. Yeah. They hate it. They hate it. But hey, I know they like that bye week too. It's kind of one of the things, though. It's an even exchange where
those 10 days off make a difference.
And I think that's what it is. I really believe that's what it is. You get those 10 days off. You can rest your body. You can do some things. Man, I think that's what's gonna sell it, because it's almost, I think that's really gonna sell it. You're gonna be able to get that little bit of time off. I think that's gonna be the kick.
I was gonna say something there, but it's like, is it too soon?
Yeah,
because a part of me was like, you can do a lot in 10 days. You can go and see your grandkid. Let me be quiet. But anyway, we gonna leave that alone. We gonna, like I said, I'm gonna get out of there. I'm gonna get out the paint with that one. My bad. It's too soon for that. But
I'm letting it slide. I'm letting it slide for today. So I'll be good by tomorrow when another game comes on.
Oh no, we really talk about that Thursday night in Cincinnati, but that's what I meant. Like,
No, I got you.
The Urban Meyer jokes, we got to keep that going.
Man didn't even fly back.
Right.
He could have flew back with the team and then flew back up there.
Oh, right. You that's right. You a Jags guy. My bad. I was trying to figure out. I was like, who the fuck did they play? Man, I got y'all wild card this year. So for real,
I think we're gonna have to win the division to come out.
I quite as kept. I wanted to put that, but I was trying to be nice. I was trying to be nice.
I don't know, y'all. Hey, shoot, because whoever in that matchup, I don't know, man. Y'all might get first place the way things going in the South.
Yeah,
but we'll see. You got giving up, but actually staying in the NBA, surprisingly. So, Robert Sarver, as you all know, he's the owner of the Phoenix Suns and the Phoenix Mercury. So he was suspended for 1 year, and fined $10 million after a investigation into what, in his findings that they had during the investigation, where he used the N-word multiple times, also demeaned employees, also female employees as well, and pretty much he provided a unsafe working environment. Okay, so with that being said, fellas, your thoughts on just the suspension itself and just what in the hell is going on in Phoenix? What's your first thing?
Hey man, I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna agree with me, but for one, with the suspension, obviously it should have been longer. I don't like bringing race into everything, but I'm pretty sure if he was our skin color, it'd be a longer suspension or he'd be getting fired. But just overall, man, sad situation. I hate somebody that has that much power can get away with using those type words and treating people that certain way, especially women and stuff. And I'm kind of just, how like when Deshaun Watson got suspension, some people were mad about it. Like I feel like this guy's suspension should have been a little longer. And I think he got how much? $10 million. They took $10 million from him.
Yeah, $10 million.
I mean, for an owner, that's nothing to him. But that's still a lot of money. But to him, he's owning 2 franchises. That's nothing. So, but yeah, suspension should have been longer. it's funny that you talk that way in a sport where it's predominantly black players, and
Right.
the guys that are causing you to have the success with your franchise are black players, and you talk this way behind closed doors. But I'm pretty sure for a lot of owners, not a lot, but a couple more owners got caught. Reported them, stuff like this will come out because I'm pretty sure he's not the only one. But it's a sad situation. Hopefully, Phoenix can move forward. But I know he's gonna lose a lot of respect with a lot of people. But yeah, he should have been suspended longer for sure.
For sure. Boy.
Of course, you know what I mean. He should have been, So I was trying to find some stuff and say, okay, when it was the Clippers guy, they hurry up and got rid of him, but it was audio, so they were trying to somewhat justify this because there's not a lot of information. But they also said that he also didn't say that he didn't. So I wonder if the suspension because he was willing to. He understand the mistake that he made or something like that. You know what I mean? I wonder if he said, yeah, I realized what I was doing and it's wrong. Maybe, I don't know. But it should definitely been longer. And then I put down, I said, damn, it seemed like everywhere Chris Paul goes, there's some type of drama. Isn't that crazy?
Yep.
When he was with the Clippers. Remember what happened in Houston and what that guy said about China? Y'all remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Right, now he in Phoenix. So, and I'm trying to figure, I've been watching stuff and it just seems like these guys that are billionaires or owners, they feel like, and I think it's changing that they could say, do whatever they want. And you can't see what's happening to them. They're starting to get hit in the pocket. You know what I mean? And things are in their character is starting to come out. Whereas a lot of younger guys are starting to get killed or robbed or arrested. You know what I mean? And you have to understand, even though you have your lifestyle is a certain way, you're still human and you're not above anything. You know what I mean? Not above anything. So it just seemed like a lot of these guys, their character and how they speak and talk, whatever they do, got them to where they are. You know what I mean? And like now, they're gonna have to. They're after going to have to face it and start saying, "I need to change," or somebody's going to go in their past and bring up some stuff, and they're going to say something. It is what it is.
Yeah. And this is one of the ones where this Robert Sarver situation, it kind of hits home. Obviously, obviously what's going on in DC with Daniel Snyder, where it's eerily similar. And this is one of the things where I beat this drum all the time. This is what happens when you own a team and when you own something. It is really hard for them to get rid of you.
Right.
And obviously, yes, I understand. Yes, him being suspended for a year and $10 million is not enough. But we still got to keep in perspective that that Adam Silver works for Robert Sarver and the other 29 governors of the NBA because now they're not owners anymore; they're governors.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, hey,
right. And somebody said he kind of I could have swore I said, I be working. I heard something like he also said, don't push him too much or he's going to start telling. He's going to start talking. He started letting a lot of other people out.
And that's the same thing I'll be talking about, like far as Daniel Snyder way. He's not going to get outed because of the simple fact of this is a country club. Like, if they vote Robert Sarver off, because that's the only way he's going to be able to leave if they vote him out.
Mm-hmm.
And they carry secrets. They are a part of all 29 of the governors of the NBA. That's a boys club. Well, even I know Jeannie's she's a part of it as well.
The last, I think couple episodes back, she went to like a convention there, and I think Mark Cuban was there, and she said she was getting lunch, and somebody came and tapped on her butt and said, "You should go back there and give me some chicken," or something weird like that to her. You know what I mean?
Can't play like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she said she said the only reason she didn't say anything is because this was when she was younger. It's because that's how they are. That's how they talk. You know what I mean? And they were testing her she said, I felt like they were testing me to see if I was going to be a girl and run out and complain and this, and that. Like, I can't handle it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I got the thing about the Robert Sarver situation. Like I said, it's eerily similar to the situation in DC. It's just one of those where it's going to be difficult to give an owner that type of punishment because of the simple fact of his stance when it comes to the league, and that's where I think that's the biggest thing, because it's like I always say, like even when Daniel Snyder got suspended last year, allegedly suspended, that it's almost like somebody underneath you is going to suspend you. Like, it's kind of one of those things where he works for Adam Silver. Adam Silver works for them, and
Right.
Roger Goodell works for the other 32 owners of the NFL. So, yes, the fine and suspension, yeah, he should have been suspended. He's like, in most cases, he should be banned. But we know how this thing goes, where when it comes to ownership, it's pretty much their Teflon. They're Teflon when it comes to these situations. It's almost like they can do whatever they want in essence, because the fact of it's so hard for them to actually get voted out, because if you vote one of the guys out of the club, they're gonna go rogue, and then you're not gonna you half your owners gonna be out of the league because of all the egregiousness and stuff that's going on. Even like what's going on, like with Stephen Ross, it's going on with the Dolphins.
Right.
All the type of stuff, all of it comes together. So you see how like all these suspensions are eerily similar, even when it comes down to the compensation. Stephen Ross was like this. Daniel Snyder is almost the same as far as the compensation. So I understand it, but I don't. I like think about it. I can look at it from a logical standpoint and understand why these suspensions and these fines aren't as egregious as many people think, because of the simple fact of Adam Silver, works for the other owners. So
didn't the Panthers owner say something? Didn't he do something like that too?
Maybe you're right, but I thought you were talking about the McNair dude, the dude from the Texans. He said something about the players a couple years ago, and they were willing to walk
running the asylum. Yeah, the Princess running the asylum. Yeah, that comment. Yeah, so, but he died.
Wasn't it?
I think he did. He passed.
He died. He passed.
I thought something happened with the Panthers, and they were talking about. Yeah, somebody said something, and then they was, I know Puff and Steph Curry and all of them were talking about that's the issue. We need more black owners in the NFL, and they were trying to buy the Panthers.
Yeah, so because Tepper he owns the Panthers now. So Trent Richardson, and that was the time where really, because that might have happened right around the same time as Donald Sterling. So that was maybe like 2014, 2015, where that was kind of like, that's where it's weird how like the thing, how that happens. And obviously the thing with Donald Sterling, because it was pretty much proof. It's almost, I'll give you an example, almost kind of like how when Ray Rice, that situation with Ray Rice, we've had other previous situations where we've heard of domestic violence, but we actually seen it. In this case, we heard it in Donald Sterling. So that's one of those where it's just like, and your boy Donald Sterling, wow. Like when he said that time, when he said Magic Johnson used to make love to all the women in town. Bro, when he
so
said
petty, man.
y'all was done when he said
but think about it. That comes out. And and then it's LA, so the fans, like, they were going to get him. He had to go, because you know how LA, regardless, love Magic. Then he says that, and then the players got to sit there, and then Chris Paul was the players' president, right, or player association president or something like that at the time. So think about it, man. Like, it's just that I think this situation, it don't seem like there's a lot of information as much as Dan Snyder with the emails. Did you look at the emails already?
From time to time. I mean, I didn't look at all of them, but I'm aware of.
You hear this stat? You hear that, right? You hear that right there. If that was Jerry Jones, he'd have been like,
no, but that's.
I'm just messing.
Me, I'm telling you, when I heard about the situation where like these other owners won't get their cut of the revenue share when they
Right.
played us, I was like, okay, that's how you gonna get him out. That's the only way you get him out. But then you see
Right.
that kind of went away. I'm telling you, the only way they gonna get him out is got it that was a smoking gun. Because if you
Right.
gonna cut these owners out of their compensation, oh,
Right.
they like, look, you out of here.
Right.
Other
There
than
you
that,
go.
so and I think really too with the Clipper situation was because it was a playoff game. It was in the playoffs, and they were willing to
Place
boycott.
it up. Because yeah.
Yeah, so that's another thing
Yeah.
too, where it was kind of, and I guarantee you, I'm put it this way: if this happened on the verge of the 2021 NBA Finals, and the Suns
Yeah.
were in the verge, a boycott, and that's where, and like we talked about this 2 years ago with the name change, where
Right.
when you affect the money,
Right.
that's when change happens.
Right.
That's what happens. But yeah,
Right.
so yeah,
Which
but so guys, we gotta definitely talk about the NFL. Get that going. Oh boy, yeah, we'll talk about that, Jordan. Poor Jordan. But hey, it is what it is.
sorry.
He failed America, all of us. But anyway, we'll kind of maybe talk about that in our next segment. The NFL Week 1, the good, bad, and the ugly. So pretty much, Week 1 has so much things going on. Week good, bad, ugly. It could be a player, team, any kind of moment, anything that caught your eye. Good, bad, and ugly as well. So Thad, what is your Week 1? Good, bad, and ugly.
For the good, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. There were a lot of questions when they lost Tyreek Hill. How was their offense gonna look? How was Mahomes gonna look? And I feel like they answered all the questions. They added some good defensive pieces that showed up as well, and looked like they hit the ground running. Like everything doesn't have to be Eddie or bomb. And I know Mahomes learned that over the course of the season last year when he struggled early on. Like everything doesn't have to be a big play. It's okay to have a 14-play drive. And he looked calm, cool, and collected. Juju is back into form. I know he's not going to be the guy he was in his first 2 years in Pittsburgh, but he's going to be their number one target outside of Kelsey. And just looks like they picked up where they left off. Bad, I'd say the Rams. I'm not saying ugly because I'm not worried about them, but Week 1 they didn't look too good. Like even though the score was 10-10 at half, I felt like it shouldn't have been that close. I feel like Buffalo dominated them from start to finish, and besides a couple turnovers that game when it got uglier than it was. But Cam Akers is going to get more touches as the season goes on. Allen Robinson is definitely going to get more than one catch over the course of the season. So that's the bad. I think they're going to be fine. And the ugly, I have a team and a situation. I'm going to talk about Jordan's team here. The ugly was that clock management at the end of the game with Seattle. In my opinion, if I was the coach, if I wanted to kick the field goal, which is crazy 64, but if I wanted to kick it, I would have kicked it earlier. So I would have had time to 40-some seconds left to get the ball back, because in the second half, Seahawks didn't really move the ball. As good as Geno looked in the second half, they didn't really move the ball like that. So they got the ball back, or at least called the timeout, went for it, and then they would have been able to get the ball back with maybe 10 or 15 seconds left. But that clock management was terrible. The 12s, I don't know if it's or not, but Nathaniel Hackett, that's my guy too, because he was with us the year we went to the AFC Championship, but rough first game. I know he'll bounce back, but that was ugly, and I know the people in Denver are killing him for it. But he'll be able to shake back. They play the Texans this week, so. And ugly, your favorite team, Coach, the Dallas Cowboys. They let Amari Cooper go. There's expectations every year. The real people that watch football, we don't listen to that stuff the Cowboys fans say. We know they're not a very good team, but their fans hype them up every year. They end up on prime time every single year. And they just look ugly. Like, even before Dak got hurt, Dak did not look good. He looked like the quarterback he was before Amari Cooper came. So, Cowboys look ugly. Michael Parsons looked good, but the Bucs didn't even play a complete game, and I felt like they dominated 19-3. And they need Gallup back quick, and they need some help quick. So, the Cowboys and then Nathaniel Hackett is the ugly for me.
Yeah, your boy to come on Undisputed this week. What?
I wouldn't have came either. No, I wouldn't have came. I think that's real quick. I don't know. Is a player. I know he's really good, and I know he's not going to get distracted. But I don't think going on that show every Tuesday was the best thing for him. And I'm pretty sure his manager, his agent, told him let's chill on that. But especially after you lose like that and you lose your quarterback, he knows, as good as Micah is, he knows that their season's not looking too good. He's already defeated, so I'll be mad too. And Shannon Sharp was gonna let him hear about it. He's gonna get some jokes in, so I know he didn't want to hear that.
Exactly. Right. Malway, you're good, bad, and ugly for week 1.
I was messing with you. Yeah. The good. Let me leave y'all alone. All right. Still a defense. I'm so proud. Wow. Like I said, I really didn't watch a lot of. I've been working hard. I work for the post office. Y'all got to understand. And to sit down and actually watch a game and see Michael Fitzpatrick. And I've been telling them, I said, man, I don't know why y'all blowing up these damn Bengals like they this, and that. Man, it was a toss-up last season. Lamar didn't get hurt. Lamar didn't even have a full team, and they still was number 1. You know what I mean? That's what's crazy to me. My Steelers, man, last year was horrible. Like, the defense was somewhat there, but at the same time, it wasn't, and they still made it to the playoffs. Anyway, I got Steelers defense. I got Lamar Jackson. He was passing that ball pretty good. Got to give shout out to Geno. This is all good. I put the Seahawks D. I'm gonna come back to that. The Bills first game, demolished the Super Bowl. All the expectations, they looked good. I put the Giants because I was really shocked that they won the game, and I see they fought back. Well, the Dolphins seem like they're fired up. Expectations, and I put the Bears because I don't think anybody really had the Bears winning that game. But with the weather, and they looked a little confident too while they were playing. The bad, I got 49ers. I got the Cardinals, and I put the Rams. Ugly, I put the Broncos. They was at the goal line, man, and they just horrible, man. You know what I mean? Steelers offense. Seriously, coach. Now let's talk about the quarterback that I got. What's your boy's name? Go ahead and say his whole name.
Say it out loud. Okay.
Go ahead and say it like you like to say.
Joe Montana Trubisky.
And that is disrespectful. Like, you don't pull that back. Man, you know what was bad? As I was seeing him play, not saying that he didn't do what he was supposed to do. I felt like I was watching Ben Roethlisberger. So, Thad, do you think it's Mitch or is it the offensive coordinator?
It's a little bit of both. You guys have a lot of weapons, and I think he should utilize them a little bit more. I think he'll be okay over time.
But the short passes.
Yeah, because that's the same thing they did last year. The little check down, back out the backfield. I think over time Mitch will get a little bit comfortable and start pushing the ball down the field more. But I think it has a little bit to do with the offensive coordinator. But if you see the pass in OT, you just give them a chance. They're gonna make plays. Deontay Johnson is not no taller than 5'10", and he plays like he's 6'3" sometimes. So give those guys an opportunity. You got Pickens, who didn't get targeted that much, Claypool, and then you got Freiermuth, the tight end. So it's weapons. They got
it's wet. That's what I'm saying. It's weapons. And I'm gonna be honest with you. If he'd used the weapons and did what he was supposed to, he looked a little timid out there. They would have blew them out. You put all that. You put all that on that defense, and then look what happened. All these people got hurt. You know what I mean? But anyway, let me see. Steelers offense. The Packers, Baker's hands, Baker Mayfield's hands, not just Baker, but Baker Mayfield's hands. Like, how many times you gonna hike the ball and drop it? I think it's, no disrespect. I think Baker needs to learn how to meditate, do some yoga, because I think he needs to learn how to. And you a quarterback, and I think you know what I mean. When you need to tone out everything, it looked like if you fumbling the ball like that, I think a lot of it's you're moving too fast. What you think?
I agree with him moving too fast a little bit. I just think I'd never seen him do that before. I think it was just adrenaline and the antsiness in his former team.
And I think what
he's been there before and he's been in big moments. So I think he's not nervous.
Right.
Nervous.
But I'm saying I think once he do that, then he'll say, because I was watching Hulu's Lakers, like I was just saying, and Phil used to say, go to your quiet place. You know what I mean? And I think that's because he wants to prove people that he's not a fraud. And you can see that he wants to prove people. He's very self-motivated. But anyway, and I got the Pats. Like, Bill Belichick needs to stop. No, he a big dog. He needs to shake the boy's hands, give him some, hey, man, good game. You got me. I'm going to get you next time. Like, come on, Bill. You ain't got to. Bill Belichick, stop being that way, man. Go smoke a doobie or something. And then the Titans. You know what I mean? And that's my ugly.
Titans. Ugh. Yeah. But the good is the Bears beating the 49ers. And I think the best moment was the Rain Angels after that
Yeah.
19-10 win. You can just and I'm really just happy for our guy Justin Fields. That now the new head coach Matt Eberflus. And actually, for the first time in about 7 months, I got his last name pronounced correctly. It took me all but 7 months to remember Eberflus. But that was a great win there. The Rain Angels, I thought that was the most coolest thing of the week. The bad field goal kickers. How there were 10 missed field goals in the fourth quarter in this week. It is so crazy, like how that has happened, and it's just so bizarre. Like, it's just crazy. And then at that point earlier, the SAS guard on that final touchdown drive for the yeah, that's right, yeah, that's your boy, Dad, the SAS guard. And he got this. Like when I seen it, I was like, oh, because it was so funny because I seen the play, I was like. At first, I was like, "Oh my God, that's Jalen!" He's trailing, and then I was like, "Oh snap!" But Diggs, I'm telling you, Diggs was out. I'm telling you, Maui, there's gonna be some babies born in Western New York called Stephon in 2023. I'm telling you, that was like
they're gonna choke in the playoffs. Watch.
They got. I'm telling you, they got it. They showed me a lot in that game. Like that was one of those where I'm like, yeah, but the SAS guard getting burnt like that was like criminal. I was like, oh my goodness.
Real quick, two things about that. All right, he did get burnt. He had a rough game, but I think they were playing like a cover four where he was expecting the safety to go with him, but number one went vertical and he couldn't. And he was a little bit too late because I've never seen him just let somebody run past him and then act like, I'm beat. And then the last part, what you just say?
Oh, the base beat. Oh yeah.
I mean, we can always talk like this, but if they would have won that game, they would have went to the Super Bowl because I think they would have beat the Bengals in Buffalo easily. I think so.
Overtime, right?
But they didn't.
They did,
yo.
But they changed rule for the Bills to get it in. But because that's why, when I tell you that, where it was crazy because I was like, when I seen the play when it developed, I was like, all right. And then I was like, I seen with him coming back, I was like, oh shoot, that's Jalen. But like you said, because I was like instinctively, I don't think he knew that was coming his way. He, like you said, I think it was a miscommunication. Cause I was like, oh man, that's Jalen. Cause crazy when you see in the moment, you're like, okay, it's a hell of a play. Then when you look at the replay, and then your boy Chris Collinsworth, now here's a guy who can stretch the field. Now let me tell you, he ain't say that, but I'm just saying. That. But anyway, ugly man. You know how some things in life you have an anxiety about. But you know it's probably more likely it won't ever happen to you. But in the back of your mind, you think to yourself, oh, hell, this could literally happen to me one day. So if you guys remember the Miami Dolphins versus the New England Patriots game, obviously we know that the Miami Dolphins won the game. But in the parking lot, there was 11 cars that was charged. No. This is where 11 cars were charged, and they don't necessarily know what the cause of it, but more than likely what ended up happening was there was a grill in one of those cars where the grill wasn't put out. That's always one of our biggest fears when you go to a game and you're in a parking lot and some jackass who grills and that essentially leave the grill hot. And you just think about it. I was like, that's always one of my biggest fears. And it's just like, oh, this is and you already at the game, you paying X amount of money for it, and your car going fire. So how in the world are you gonna get home?
Right.
Like especially if regardless of, I don't care if you live 10 minutes away from a stadium, hell, 2 hours away, you think to yourself, how on earth? And then I don't have a car, and then who knows what possessions you might have in that car that's gone. So yeah, that's the ugly. That's like you said, it's one of my biggest fears, but it's not a big fear, but it's kind of one of the things in the back of your mind. You're like, dang, this could happen to anybody.
Imagine that was like a rental or something. Or
right.
If what happens to a rental if you get it burned or something like that? You got to pay for the whole car? How does that go?
And it just depends on your insurance. It just depends on if you think it depends, because I know they love to kind of put on an insurance policy, try to tack on, hey, especially if you got like liability on your regular car, they'll left to try to get you full coverage for that car. But like, it's so funny because I was gonna ask my mom about that because she's an insurance agent. Like, what it's almost like a Bayham situation really happened for real, and it's like I was gonna ask her, like, well, what happens in a situation like that? Like, as far as when it comes to fire, because obviously, about accidents, certain things where they'll cover it, but for a fire of that magnitude, where it's almost like you really can't pinpoint the cause of it, because like who's essentially at fault? Because we know where the grill belongs to potentially. It just depends on the fire, but that's spooky. That's something that's like, yeah.
Yeah, that was messed up. I seen pictures.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And this imagine you was at the Rams game, you paying $100 a pop. Hell no. Let me stop. But yeah, I like, that's crazy. I'm like, yeah. But that's the ugly for week 1. Good, bad, and ugly for week 1 of the NFL season. So, fellas, next topic I want to discuss your couch coach game of the week. I'm gonna go with you there. And remember, what the rules for this one is that's not one of your favorite teams. So no FSU, no Jaguars.
Oh yeah, I wasn't even gonna say that.
I know, right?
For me, I kind of have two, but I'm gonna go with the obvious one. I'm gonna go with the game tomorrow. Two heavyweights in the AFC West. They both look good week 1, and I'm just ready to see the early season showdown. The offense versus Mahomes versus Herbert in the new Chargers pass rush. Khalil Mack had 3 sacks on Sunday, so it's gonna be one of those games, I think. And with the way week 1 went, I can see this one going down to the wire. I was gonna say Ravens and Dolphins, but I'm gonna watch that game. But Chiefs and Chargers catches my eye more. The two top 5 quarterbacks going at it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then tomorrow, at Amazon Prime, shout out to Taylor Rooks, but I digress.
Hey, she went to high school like 5 minutes down the road from me. She went to my rival high school. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Ooh, yeah, I don't have one.
You don't?
That's my fault though. I didn't look it up. My bad. Don't judge me, man. You know what?
No,
my bad. Hold up. Ravens and the Dolphins. Thank you, Thad. Ravens and the Dolphins. I got one.
we still talking about the rival. Like we still talking about the rival. But this is gonna be an interesting game and this is where I'm kind of like ESPN kind of gonna miss the mark. I think because the beauty thing about the Monday Night Football game, because we got a doubleheader this week,
right?
Monday Night Football, and some people like myself aren't going to leave the couch because there is a Tennessee versus Buffalo matchup, and then there's an Eagles and Vikings game as well. So I like this game because to me this is kind of one of those games where I really want to see where Tennessee's at this point. And Tennessee really have gave Buffalo kind of fits in the past. So this is kind of one of those where it's going to be really interesting. Obviously, especially when it comes to prime time, because I remember they played on a Tuesday night, and this is in the C19 era, and 2 years ago, and then I think they played them again on Monday Night Football, and I think Tennessee got them in that one. And then just coming off that loss to the Giants, seeing what this tight team is going to do. And this is like a great measure stick for them, even though, hey, they may fall 0-2, but just see what they're going to produce on the field for this, where, is this going to be a close game, or is it going to be one of those where it's going to be a blowout? And it kind of go a long way of kind of how we'll look at the Titans in the first 3 weeks of the NFL season. So, yeah, and I think like you said, and I think I said earlier, ESPN missed the mark. Like, when you had you know, have one game, one game at a time, because you got that game is at 7:15, the other one is at 8:30. So it's just like
I actually like it though. Like I want to see both. I mean, me on Sundays, I watch every game. I'm watching both games, all games. But
yeah,
I kind of want to lock into that Eagles game. I don't want to be going back and forth.
Right, and that's the thing where because both of these two teams, both these two matchups, they are, I think, for potential playoff teams. Like this could be potential playoff matchups come January. So like you said, and that's why, like you said, I do kind of want to undivided attention. Like when it comes to, I think a game that I'll probably be more inclined to watch, which I might need to kind of watch the Vikings and the Eagles game for some intel for next Sunday. But
it's a loss either way.
I got 3 games. I got at least 3 games. I had looked at. I got 3 games. Let me tell you. All right, I'm gonna go Saints and the Bucks. And then I'm gonna go to Seahawks and the 49ers. And one more. The Vikings and the Eagles. I'm interested because I know the Eagles is another team. I'm picking the Vikings to do well. Actually, also that Bears and the Packers. Do y'all really think the Packers is that bad?
No, I think they're gonna beat the brakes off the Bears this week.
Yeah, they are. They're gonna and they always struggle in the beginning of the season anyway. So that's one thing where this is not nothing new, because obviously like last year they got blown out by the Saints. In that first week, and everybody was so, like, oh man, they suck. Like, no, they just, and then you got to think about it, this man ain't played preseason. So it's kind of one of those where he's really just getting himself going. And,
right.
Trust me, the 2-time league MVP, he could be all right. It's just a matter of time. But like you said, unless it's going to be like you said, I definitely think they're gonna take care of business. I think like he owns the Bears, like literally. He's a McCaskey at this point. So essentially, McCaskey or Hallis, and the Hallis family as well too. So Hallis McCaskey. So yeah, he fits in that role. So trust me, it's. No disrespect to the Bears fans, but we know he owns the Bears. I mean, they know it too. So,
well, if they win, Bears win. It's gonna look different.
Yeah, Bears win. We'll talk about Matt Uberfleece and your boy Justin Fields.
That's not my boy.
Okay.
I'm not the biggest fan. I ain't gonna lie.
He's from he a Georgia.
He is, no, but I'm just talking about it's like an NFL quarterback.
I know. I'm just I don't know.
He picking, Thad. He picking, man.
I will say something else, but I want to be respectful to him. So
we'll do. Yes, we understand. Hey, But yeah, I think they missed the mark on that one. But it's all good. It's more football. It is what it is. I'll probably, like you said, do the picture potentially. But
let's go,
like
Kirk Cousins.
But that Thursday night game, oh boy, yeah, you're right about that. Can't wait for that interview. But I'll be quiet.
It took me a second to realize what you're talking about, man.
I don't care about the Jets struggling.
Hey, you might as well go ahead and shoot your shot one day for a podcast.
I mean, yeah. I mean, why not? I mean, hey. I mean, Brittany Renner retweeted my tweet. I mean, hey.
Oh, I was dying when I saw that.
I was shocked. I called my mom.
Now it's definitely time to move on.
Right.
Yes, big time, because we get ready to go down a rabbit hole that we may not get out of. So
shit, I know I am.
Okay.
She got more bread than me.
Back to regularly scheduled programming. So, with that being said, we're giving out game balls this week. So, fellas, Dad, who's getting this game ball this week for you?
I'm a big NFL guy, but I got to go back to college. I'm giving the game ball to the team, but also one of my friends that I used to train with, Chase Bryce. He's the quarterback at App State. They pulled off the big W versus Texas A&M this week. They almost beat North Carolina. They almost beat your Tar Heels, but he missed that low throw. But he shook back nicely, and big victory for a team that's been competing for a long time. Like they play in the Sun Belt, but they haven't been a slouch for years. They've been a really good program, and this top 10, the top 25 win was long overdue. So game ball goes to my guy Chase Bryce in the App State program, and they're getting celebrated. Game day's coming down there this week, so big week for the program, and shout out to them.
Man, he is balling. Like he obviously the former Clemson and Dookie, but dude balling. He almost single-handedly beat us. Oh my God, he balled. Yeah, he's a ball. Man. He's a ball.
So shout out to App State.
Yes, indeed. Whew. I tell you, that was a scary one. But Maui, who gets this week's game ball for you?
I got a co game ball to give away. First off is the dude with stats. Michael Fitzpatrick, 1 block, 1 interception, 14 tackles. Balling everywhere. I'm like, man, it's almost like damn, did Ryan and Troy have a baby? Because he was everywhere, even interceptions, hitting people in the touchdown. I'm like, yo, this is different. You know what I mean? Like I was just so excited to see that chemistry of defense. Then you could tell when they was moving too fast, they start bumping into each other, and that's when the Bengals was coming back. But anyway, Michael Fitzpatrick, I felt like he did his thing. The other one I'm giving it to is close my family, my brother's best friend, Daryl Taylor. So I watched him last night, and what I saw was they never passed on his side, and they never ran his way. And I thought that was very interesting to me. You know what I mean? So they had him on the left side, and then when they moved him to the right side, they went the other way. And I felt like, I don't know, Thad, what do you think that means? Give me some, because I felt like that kind of like, to me, the way he would
say that one more time. Say that one more time. He was doing what again?
He was he's a defensive end, and he was on the left side at first, right? And then the way he seemed like he rushed, it was more. It wasn't like more power, it's more finesse, because he like 6'3", so he would go down. He would come around. He would touch the ground, but he would go low. But Russell would never go his way. He would never pass his way. They wouldn't run his way. So then they put him on the right side eventually, and they went the other way. And I was like, man, he must be getting some type of respect. Then they put him in the middle, and when they put him in, because Russ is not a tall guy, he would jump up real high. And it was always seemed like, even though he didn't get any stats, but he still had a big effect of the game. You know what I'm saying? He had a real big effect of the game. So I wanted to give him the game, but that's why I said that, especially them not really scoring and at the goal line too. Like it was like it's just something they seemed like they couldn't figure out, man. You know what I mean? But definitely want to give him the game, but I got to shout him out for that, man, because that's, him being in the league a few years, I was like, wow, he must be getting some type of respect now. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah, maybe they saw something on film to where they had to run away from him, because the Broncos don't have the craziest offensive line. They're good, but not the best.
Right, and you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. To me, I would do like a misdirection and run the ball, because he would always run outside. You know what I mean? He would never run inside. He would run outside, and he don't push. He'd try to run around, or and he do it every time. And I'm sitting here looking at the whole like, oh my, they gonna hate when they watch film, because they're gonna see this big ass gap, right? You know what I mean? Where Russ could have faked or anything, but it just seemed, I don't know. Do y'all think Russ might be a little rattled? Because he just haven't seemed like he's been playing real well last few years.
I just think it was week 1, first game back, playing his old team, a lot of jitters and all that bottled up into one.
Okay. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. So I guess I give my game ball to Kevin O'Connell, the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, the former Washington Commanders offensive coordinator, on a win 23-7 over the Green Bay Packers once again. And also a lot of my Commander guys got wins. Mike McDaniel got a win as well. Definitely huge shout out to him. Yeah, so
Not that dude for the 49ers.
huh? Yeah,
Not
no,
that one.
what's that? Not Cal. Yeah, Cal didn't get one. Yeah, I was talking about my new guys, the new head coaches, Cal
The new
and
guys?
the new
Wow.
guys, Mike McDaniels and also Kevin O'Connell.
Hey, maybe y'all just picked the wrong one. Who'd y'all stick with over Shanahan and McVay? Who was it? Gruden. Jay
It
Gruden.
was, huh?
No, Jay Gruden. It wasn't Jay Gruden.
Yeah, Jay Gruden. Yeah, Jay Gruden. Yeah, he was. Yeah, because Jay Gruden, and then once he ended up getting elevated, what's his face? McVay. McVay got elevated once he left because Cal left too in 13.
Hey, coach. Always like when y'all win. You be so you be like so live when y'all win, boy. All you need is some tea and a cigar coat, like, and you'll be like, yeah. So what happened? It was Gruden.
Well, yeah. But I mean, hey, yeah. Like I said, I have an outlet for that, so I try not to kind of bring it over here.
You think y'all gonna win the division, especially with his back hurt?
Don't ask him that after week 1. Please don't get him started.
Commanders in the chat podcast. We're talking.
Hey, real quick before we move on though, like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's only week 1. Giants could be okay. I know Philly's gonna be better.
I think
You don't know.
And I think the Giants they're gonna win some games because obviously with Brian Daboll, I think he's a coach that they needed because obviously Joe Judge, and that's the thing where when you're Little Bill, it doesn't work everywhere else. Obviously ask Matt Patricia, ask Brian Flores. Like when you Little Bill, it don't work outside of New England. Yeah. So putting up one more final topic to end tonight. So we got to do our pick 6. So we got this week we'll have 3 college games. It was kind of almost hard to find a needle in the haystack. That was week 3 of this college football slate. And then we got other 3 games in the NFL. So last week, the winner of the pick 6, because even though we only picked 5 games, and that is a editorial mistake by myself, we only had 5 games. But coming in first place was myself at 4-1. Our guest Jordan was 3-2, and then Maui in last place at 2-3. So hey,
whatever.
So I get bragging rights for the week. But this is a new week. Who knows, Mal? You might be the king of the hill this week. Dad, you could be there, or I can stay on top of the hilltop. We shall see. So we got number 12 BYU versus number 25 Oregon. Who you got, Thad?
I hate it, man. Like, I really think BYU is a solid team. They beat Baylor last week. It was a good game, but they're going on the road to Oregon in that hostile environment, and I hate when I do this. I'm going to go with BYU, but I think they're going to lose. BYU is a good team, but going into environment, in college, those people go crazy. If you've ever been to a big college game, like, the environment is crazy, and in certain places, it's extra loud. And on the what do you call it, Pacific Northwest or whatever, all those stadiums are wild. Washington, all those schools out there, they get loud. So I'm gonna go Oregon. I'm gonna go with.
You gonna go with who?
BYU.
BYU, but I think Oregon's gonna win.
BYU. Who?
I think BYU, but I think Oregon's gonna win. But I'm picking BYU.
You'll pick, okay. Yeah, I've never had a loud college environment. I think the only ruckus crowd was at UVA. That's the only thing I've experienced, and that's kind of really minute. It's kind of wine and cheese crowd compared to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, or Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge.
The fuck?
Oh my god. Maui, who you got? Oregon, BYU.
I got BYU.
BYU. I'm gonna go against the grain, fellas. I'm gonna give me the fighting Justin Herberts. Give me the Oregon Ducks. Quack quack.
You trusting Bo Nix?
I mean,
hey, do what you got to do, man.
Bo Nix. Oh God! Like when I heard he went to Oregon, I was like, he still got eligibility. Like
Stupid.
Bo Nix went to high school with me, and I've been out of school for 20 years. but I think I look at it because of that win last week against Baylor, where that ended up being one of the best games of the week.
It was just too
But
late.
it was too late at night. I watched it.
I was literally out partying and I seen it on the TV.
Oof.
Yeah.
Don't do that now while you in your 20s, there. You would be an old man like me. You're gonna be sitting back on the recliner and drinking some water. Making sure you don't drink it.
I hope not.
Go ahead. Yeah, that's I said. Go on and do your partying there. Cause when you get my age, son, you gonna sit on that recliner, make sure you don't drink a lot because you don't want to pee at night.
Super young.
But anyway, we got Penn State at Auburn. Who you got there?
Like I said, another hostile environment where anything can happen, but I'm gonna go with Penn State. Auburn doesn't have a good quarterback, so I think Penn State will be able to take care of them.
All right. Who you got, Maui?
I went Auburn.
Okay. Give me the fighting Jahan Dotson, the 2022 NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. Give me Penn State.
This guy.
Yeah. Hey, you forced my hand when it comes to that type of stuff. You wanted my bias, you got my bias. Okay?
Right.
we got number 13 Miami versus number 14 Texas A&M. What you got there?
This one easy. I'm going with A&M. I'll never pick Miami for the sake of their Miami and because Perez likes Miami. So A&M's going to bounce that. Jimbo owns Miami from the time he was at Florida State. So he's going to get in his team's ass this week. I already know that. Like, they probably had hell already this week on Tuesday and Wednesday at practice. So go with A&M over Miami. And Miami didn't look good last week against Southern Miss. Like, it took them like 3.5 quarters to wake up. So, yeah, Texas A&M.
Same here.
Let's see. Yep, to A&M. All right. Give me the fighting Alex Caruso's. Give me Texas A&M.
All right, Caruso.
That's how I like him on the college. Cause like that's the only reason why I like because famous alums, you know. So definitely huge shout out to
Damn, I miss Caruso.
Yeah, So staying in that some NFL picks, we got the Chargers, the artist formerly known as the San Diego Superchargers going to Arrowhead. What you got? That
I'm gonna take the Chiefs. Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes, for one, doesn't throw picks in September, and they don't lose in September like that. I know they split last year in 2 great games, but I'm gonna go with the Chiefs.
What you got, Maui?
It's really hard for me to pick the Chiefs since I know Juju Smith-Schuster is on that damn team, but I'm going with the Chiefs. Oh, I can't.
You didn't like his TikToks?
My stomach just started hurting when you said that. I'm like, man, come on, man, you from LBC. I grew up in the 90s. LBC, you ain't supposed to be doing TikToks. You know what I mean? Your Uncle Trey D. You know what I'm saying? East Siders.
Hey, man, these kids different, man. I thought you knew. These boys.
Somebody stole your bike, man. First of all, you're a football player. Somebody stole your bike. That is not, and you told everybody that somebody stole your bike. You a football player, and somebody stole your bike, bro. Bro, you was a football player for the Steelers, and somebody stole your bike. You know what I mean?
These kids different. These kids different, bro.
They would never steal the bus's scooter.
This is a generational thing, brother. Like, hey, this is different.
They would never take Troy Polamalu surfing board. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and Kansas City. Give me the Chiefs, even though they go, that place gets on my nerves. They just so arrogant these days.
You have a right. You have a right though, because I still can't believe they did that to Sean Taylor.
Yeah, I mean, I forgave that little nitwit.
I love throwing that stuff out there because I don't like Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean, I sound like the Chiefs fans. I think this experience a few weeks ago kind of made me like f them. When
What happened?
I just think just cocky, and I'm just like, dude, it's a preseason game. Y'all acting like y'all playing like I'm acting like I feel like I was at in Dallas. All the vitriol I was getting. I
They
like,
only got
dude,
one
it's a
Super Bowl, right?
preseason game. It's just a preseason game, dude.
They only won one Super Bowl, right?
I mean, yeah. Well,
In the
two.
last 5 years.
One. Yeah, one. But the last one was like 50 years ago. But yeah. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like, but yeah, give me Kansas City. I think they'll win this game. But then we got the Bucks and the Saints. Is your boy gonna eat a W this week or no? What you got?
He ate him last week on that comeback. I love seeing that. This is a tough one. The Saints, the Saints have had Brady's number since he got to the Bucks. I don't know what it is, but
yeah,
it's in the Superdome, right? It's home for the Saints.
Yeah.
We'll go with the Saints. They started out slow versus the Falcons. They can't do that versus the Bucks, so they're gonna get blown out because the Bucks are not the Falcons. But Mike Thomas back, Jarvis Landry looked good. I'm gonna go with the Saints. I like the Saints.
And before we get to your pick, Mal, I just want this one little thing. How's Jelani doing? Because I was gonna reach out to Jelani, but I was like, you know what? It might be too soon.
It's just something. They're literally cursed because the Super Bowl loss. I would have cried, and I wouldn't have gone to football practice that week. I wouldn't have went to meetings on Monday. Yeah. They've done it like 6 times after that. I really don't know. Like my friend was over here from Atlanta. He came down for the weekend. We were watching the game, and he was about to take a nap. He like, "Oh, this over. We got this." I said, "Bro, you don't stay up for about 10 more minutes." And yeah, they
should know better.
I'm not surprised anymore. I don't know what it is. I saw them on Snapchat. Fans were celebrating. My friends were at the game celebrating and stuff. And then they talking about, if you call me, I'm pulling up to fight. So I don't know. Everybody was mad. Everybody was angry. Burn the flag and stuff.
Cause like obviously, I'm at 1 o'clock window. I'm always immersed, and then I like you see it like at halftime. Whatever. Like okay, the Falcons already balling. Then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, here we go. I was like, and it's crazy at the end of the game. I'm like, they lost. Like, because it was up 26-10, won't it, or something like that? It was up. Yeah, it was up. If my memory serves correct, it was up like 26-10. But
11 minutes left.
Yeah, because I was like, God, they in the travesty. Because I remember that because that was right around the time when my boy threw the interception to Trayvon Walker.
And I thought I thought we had the game won. I was over there talking about shit, man. I don't
Sheesh. But yeah. So Mallet, Bucks and the Saints, who you got?
I'm going with the Bucks. I got a buddy of mine. See, it's one thing, man, to not like Tom Brady, but you still got to give Tom Brady his props. Like it ain't like he a story where everything was given to him. You know what I mean? Like Tom Brady worked hard for where he's at. Like I mean, I don't know what you think about it, that, but I believe he did. He came. Columbine was horrible. He was second string. Like and even people that say they want to hate him, they can't. They have nothing really negative to say about him. So I got a homeboy of mine that's a Saints fan. He's from New Orleans, and I just didn't like the tone that the way he was talking about Tom Brady. I'm sitting here like, what are you talking about, man? Like he's a fairy. He ain't no GOAT. He ain't this. And I'm just sitting here like, man, get this man what he deserved. Like, so I gotta pick the Saints. I mean, I gotta pick the Bucks, man, because I ain't saying I don't know if they're gonna win. I think Tom, from watching the game, he seemed like he was getting back to managing the game. He didn't seem like he was overly dominant and he was picking them apart. It just seemed like he was just starting to he's an older quarterback, so it seemed like he was just getting his wheels, like it was just starting to go. You know what I mean? But I'm picking them. You should see some of the stuff my homeboy be saying about Tom Brady. I'm like, come, I know he's a rival, man, but come on, man. He being a little, just one thing to talk trash, but you, like for instance, when Dak, right? Remember when Dak wasn't getting his money?
Yeah.
Remember how we talked about it? We felt like he should get paid. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean,
remember, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like that. I feel the same way Tom Brady. I'm not about to go out here and buy his jersey, but damn, you know what I mean? Look at his stats and look how many Super Bowls he got. I know he win them all himself, but he's a big reason why they won.
And that kind of and just I'm gonna briefly lament on your point. I got off the clock, but anyway, but yeah, I like to me it's almost like I understand why people don't like Brady if they look at
Right.
this if they look at it kind of in this century in a sense. But like
Right.
I remember in the previous century that so back in the late '90s, where he was literally he's a Cinderella story when you really think about it in a sense.
Right.
He was at Michigan. He was the one that was, obviously with the backup to Drew Henson, because Drew Henson was the guy that people look at Tom Brady as like this that the handsome guy, the
Right.
GQ man, all this. And then Tom Brady just catapults himself and do his thing. And guess what? The clock has not struck in midnight in his career. He still got his glass slippers from 2001. So yeah, he's literally Cinderella. He's literally Cinderella. When you
That's
sit
all I'm
down and you
saying,
really
man.
think about it, and
One thing.
the seven dwarfs. I don't know who the seven dwarfs would be, but he's really a Cinderella story. Especially considering the fact because when I was in middle school, I remember Tom Brady battling for Drew Henson, and I've been out of middle school for almost 25 years. He's still playing football.
Yep.
When we used to wear Michigan starter coats.
Right. I'm
Well,
just
not because of
saying.
him, but because of like Charles
Yeah.
Woodson and then
I'm just saying you
yeah,
got to give some type of respect, like you know what I
yeah,
mean. And you
yeah,
just really disrespecting his character.
yeah,
Oh, he's a pansy. Oh, he's
yeah,
this. He ain't no goat. Oh, who's the goat then? Tell me who the goat is. There ever was a person that put an exclamation mark on like two teams like it's
yeah.
crazy. Go, my bad. Go ahead.
And shout out to the Michigan days. And you may not remember David Terrell. I might be before your time there. Yeah, David Terrell, number one at Michigan. Was Huguenot Falcon. When Huguenot was Huguenot. When Huguenot was was on the avenue. When the avenue was the avenue. But anyway, we went down a Michigan rabbit hole. We went down a Joe Namath rabbit hole. All right, we got one more pick and then we gonna head on out for the night. The Vikings and the Eagles fail, and Minnesota. Who you got that?
It's early on. I'm gonna go with the home team. Philly has a secondary that likes to play man. Darius Slay and Bradbury, they play a lot of man. And I know you're not gonna be able to stop Jefferson for the whole game, but I think that's better than playing in that wonky ass zone coverage the Packers were trying to play, letting him find an open hole in the zone every time. But I'm gonna go with the Eagles. They're playing at home. Their D line is good. They're gonna be able to pressure Kirk Cousins and make him make a couple mistakes. So I'm gonna go with the Eagles at home.
All right, Mel, what you got?
I got the Vikings. Vikings is one of those teams where everybody giving it to the Bills and Dolphins and all those guys. I've been looking at the Vikings like they're really the team that everybody should be kind of like paying attention to.
I know this is kind of contradicting, but my boy Kirk Cousins. I don't know if he gonna be able to do it in prime time. This Eagles team is a little bit different, and hey, give me a feeling in this matchup. I would love to face a 2-0 Philadelphia Eagles team and say head to FedEx in next Sunday. So come on, Phil Eagles, Phil, bring your lunch. We're ready.
I was wondering why you don't let in the intro why you don't let Kirk Cousins talk no more. He changed.
Oh, I gotta figure that
that's
out
right.
because I tell you I got a copyright strike for the music, so
Oh,
I had to find some music for it. I gotta figure that out.
I'm
Because
messing,
I guess the
man.
music, because the music that we had got copyright. I got a copyright strike on the YouTube page, so I gotta figure that all kind of out. But I just got me a non-copyrighted music and did it that way. But yeah,
It's crazy.
there's a right. And it's like I've been using this intro since like January. I got a copyright strike. I'm like, how? But anyway, that's digress. I don't want to limit on that point because we'll be here about 10:30. So, so we'll put a ball in this week's Couch Coach Live. Dad, tell them where they can find you on social media, any upcoming project, what you got going on.
You can follow me and Jelani at What the Game Means to Me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We're gonna be coming to y'all with a show tomorrow, recapping week 1 and then previewing week 2. And yeah, man, shout out to Off the Ball Network. Follow Coach, follow everybody on the network, and the Jags will be getting dubbed this week to go to 1-1. Just had to put it there.
And Ooh, we talk about Jelani. We really need to be checking on Stu. Oh yeah, you had
I
how's Stu doing? Oh, you
no. We
still
literally just had a show right before. He said if they lose, he won't be in chats. He's doing okay right now, but if they lose, he won't be in chat.
Wow, yo, that's so damn
I
silly,
don't
man.
blame him, bro. I don't blame him. Like, dude,
No, I'm
like,
going to the game too on Sunday. So soon as because there's never
Ooh.
Wi-Fi in the stadium. I don't know why. Like the service isn't that good. So soon as I get some service, I'm on his head if they lose.
oh man, yeah. Because Stu had me kind of like if I was ever get off if I was like, dude, you're making my anxiety like even more. Like it's almost like we're gonna have an anxiety attack contest. Like if we would have lost, like dude, like
Nah, you're right.
I know I was like, bro, like I had to be like, look, your anxiety is making me more anxiety. You're scaring me. Like, you're hurting me.
Somebody might need to check on him. His wife, somebody needs to check on him.
Yes, if they fall 1-1.
He's so stupid.
Be quiet. I got Stu knows all love. It's no malice, but
Oh,
1-1.
yes, that's the Colt fan.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I tell him I'm sorry. What dude said? He said, "What you saying? This must be the worst division in the league." And I'm like, I'm not trying to say that.
Oh my
God. But
but
It's
yeah, it has that potential. Maui, what you got?
Sean Morgan, Facebook, DT Morgan 78, Instagram. Hey, Thad, man, I appreciate you, man. I like when you on here. I really respect your football and intelligence, man. Like seriously.
No,
So,
I'm definitely gonna come on again. It's football season, so I'm pretty free every week almost.
I was really excited. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we always had you on Thad. He was NFL.
And I got y'all winning against the Colts. Sorry, Stu.
No, we're gonna take care of business. We should have won last week, but we're gonna wrap the show up before I go another 30 minutes about that.
We done been down so many rabbit holes.
Like that, it just makes my Monday so bad because I didn't get anything done. I did a couple things, but yeah.
So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Couch Coach Live, podcast anywhere you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, you're there. Also, the other podcast, Commanders in the chat. We got that going. And I mean, I got a million things going on, obviously. I'm a Washington Commanders pretty much correspondent for Frankly Speaking Sports, Let's Talk Sports, the NFL, the Alex Fleming NFL Carousel, and also the Play Callers Matchup Madness. So you can catch me pretty much every day of the week, essentially, talking Commanders. But and you can also find it. I'll always post it on my YouTube, not YouTube, but on my Twitter page, Couch Coach Live or Couch Coach P, and then also for Facebook, Chris Couch Coach Powell. So I'll always share those when those are available. So man, this has been another great show. And once again, we got a QB whisperer in the building. Definitely, huge shout out to our guy Thad. Both Livingstone a little bit. Well, you had the experience. I just had the buffet and went for a visit and just never came back. So,
that was my home. That was my home for 2 years before I moved out here to Charleston to continue football. So yeah, it'll always be home for me. I went back the first year after I left because I couldn't play because of the NCAA rules. So I went to homecoming. Homecoming is always a good time out there for sure.
Yeah, I went down there to visit because I actually got accepted there and didn't quite make it there.
It's a little wild. They call it Shotsbury, so it's a little wild.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah, I mean, the visit was great. I loved it. I wanted to go, but I was like, just the thing. The stars didn't align at the time. Well, financially, there ain't no stars. It's just your pockets were inside out. You didn't have a pot to piss in, and you're 17 and don't have no money. Yeah, but definitely, I went there for a visit. great buffet and all that. Great, I had a great experience. I really did want. I look at it as kind of one of my regrets, especially as far as how my life would have been if I would have went there. What I would have. I always think about that. So every time I think about when you come through, and I always Livingstone. I always think about that experience from 20 years ago. But hey, we're here. But hey, everything else turned up pretty well. So hey, it is what it is. But yeah, once again, great show again, fellas, man. This has been this week's Couch Coach Live, man. We'll catch you guys next week, and we're out.
Well.